I left my camera on. Oops, sorry guys.
Yuck.
Howdy, folks. Is Vile Mike here?
We enjoy seeing.
And how are you guys all doing? First of all,
I think I'm awake.
I'm awake-ish.
all right. So, first things first. Elihu, I saw you post a couple of things about this on Twitter this week. And how do you feel about the whole reflecting pool, especially this little graph comparison? Because of, they didn't fix anything regarding the main underlying issues, but he's now bragging about it because of how big it is, even though it was made over a century ago and he had nothing to do with it.
I think his brain is becoming completely tapioca.
He also reposted this morning of the reflecting pool with an image of him holding a sign that says Trump 2028. I didn't show you that one yet.
All right, hold on one second, because I could barely hear Danny Lyon.
Oh, really? I have no settings to change, so.
Where's that image? Hang on, I'm trying to find it. Oh, sorry, 2 images of Trump 2028. It's kind of odd because the images that the official White House posts and every official is posting AI-generated images of the reflecting pool. Yesterday, somebody took an actual picture of it. And you can barely see Washington Monument in the pool. Like, what the fuck is this? They showed an old picture from a couple years ago compared to today. You can see, a couple leaves in the pool and everything, but you see everything reflected. Yesterday's picture, barely see the Washington Monument, and it's not even water's not even all the way in there yet. The only thing he said his thing was, we fixed the leaks. Yeah, the leaks from the actual pool itself, but not the plumbing itself. Okay, Obama didn't do the plumbing. Nobody else did the plumbing. Trump didn't do the plumbing. The whole problem was the plumbing itself. It wasn't about the garbage and shit in there. That's been taken care of for years. It's about the leaking plumbing of the sewage into the sewage system. That was never fixed.
Now, this wasn't an issue until, I didn't really look it up until, this whole debacle. But apparently every president has done a feasibility study on, repairing those plumbing leaks.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the reason they haven't done it was because it was going to cost, between, $12 and $25 million to fix everything.
36.
And probably take a couple of years to do so. And no president wanted to start it during their first term for it to not finish until the end of their term.
Morning, folks. Hey, Danny.
Hey, how you doing, LG?
What's going on? So what are we talking about here? Sorry, I had to.
We're talking about the reflecting pool and all the stuff about that, because that bizarre chart that he was showing. Let's see if I can bring up an image.
The one taller than the Empire State Building.
All right, let's see if I can bring it up. Well, while I'm waiting for that page to load, anything else you guys want to bring up about this?
I do have a chuckle.
I don't know what this is. I'm sorry, I missed the whole beginning part. What are you guys talking about?
The reflecting pool. We
how he's painting the bottom of the bottom of the reflecting pool for the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial is being repainted.
Well, the thing is, he didn't actually fix the problems.
Here's the current image.
It's still going to be there's still going to be a bunch of issues with it.
I found the current image for you. Sorry, I'm going to put it in the chat.
Anyway, so the next person's just going to have to fucking blow more money and fix it later. It's unfortunate, but that's, at least someone will get hired and paid to do it. So.
All right.
That's what
I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the image. Show you how much it reflects right now. Where's it? Here it is. Not wrap up. Not wrap up. CNA chat.
And like, he does this thing to show that the reflecting pool is bigger than several skyscrapers, and he's using Sears Tower, Empire State Building, and the new Trade Center.
And he said this morning the pool is completely done. This is his words.
All right, so is that the scale, or is that just numbers with paste and glue images on there?
Oh, it's supposed to show how big it is. I assume, I don't know. I don't know what the fucking point of it is. Like, who cares? Vertical versus horizontal. It's like, yeah. I think somebody did another one which compared it to the I-95 or something like that. It's like, dude, whatever. Like, you can always it's not a comparison. Like, who cares?
And if you're talking about the scale, no, it isn't, because they got some of the information wrong. Like, apparently for the Empire State Building, they're including the antenna on the top and that height. It's basically the lightning rod.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Counting the lightning rod towers on the top of the Sears Tower, and if you do, the Sears Tower is bigger than the Empire State Building.
Oh.
So they use the incorrect heights for the buildings if you're going by the same criteria.
I assume somebody made this for him because they thought because he likes buildings, and he thought, oh, that's a great comparison. Let's make a poster.
All right, so what I'm asking is, because I've never seen this in person before. The height is one thing. Okay, you can say that it's 2,000 feet long, right? Like, I get that. But what about the width? Are you telling me that you could fit what is that last one? World Trade Center inside the pool, and it would be submerged in water completely?
No, the width is not even that long.
No. Remember, the reflecting pool is only a couple of feet.
Pool is okay, so it's only a couple feet deep. Okay, so it wouldn't go in there. You can literally stand in this pool.
It's calf deep.
You could walk across the pool, and your fingertips wouldn't get wet.
I didn't know that.
If you watch Forrest Gump, you can tell exactly how deep it is. That's how they were wading in it. That's how deep it is.
I mean, I think what Pickles is asking is the width of these buildings correct compared to the pool?
It's not.
Yeah. Is the pool wider than the wide of the building? Is what I'm at. Well, I wanted all of them, so depth is good.
Wider than they appear. Like, this is not to scale.
These are wider than they appear.
It's about 200 feet long.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So they're fucking around then. So this is a non-thing. I was going to say that must be a pretty fucking big ass pool if it's wider than the actual building.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, remember,
if you look at the Lincoln Memorial, and the width of the steps, that's how wide the pool is, and the width of the steps. It's not even that wide. It's not even that wide.
Yeah, every image I see of it, they do that thing with the camera where you really can't, like, it's deceptive looking at it. You can't really.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you see the little picture of the Lincoln Memorial on top of that thing, on top of the pool. The actual pool is only as wide as the steps in front of it, not the entire building. Whereas they have it as wide as the entire building.
Where's my picture?
It makes no sense. Like, what the fuck is the point of this?
I got a picture I took when I was there.
Like, what does this prove? What does this show? Like,
I mean,
I have no idea why this was such a big issue for him.
It's so
and about it being finished. Yeah, it finished, but it also at 6 times almost 7 times the budget that it was originally set for.
I mean, and it's going to need more money thrown at it later as well, because actually they went and drove on it when it was empty, and that probably damaged it more. Because part of the problem is the seams.
I heard he was adding lights to it and shit. I don't know.
Probably.
Is that true?
To do that, you'd have to
Did
do
I
a lot
miss
more
that?
than just paint the damn thing, because the whole electrical grid in that area would have to be improved if you're going to add lights.
Maybe a disco ball.
I don't
Maybe a
know.
disco
I don't
ball.
know. They got LEDs now. They can light up stuff fairly easy today compared if this was like 30 years ago. But I mean, you're literally
Even
just
LED
talking
lights,
strips.
you have to have. You're not going to just have them run off of solar power up alongside.
Yeah.
You're going to have them
Of course,
wired up
of course,
the
can.
entire way.
No, you could do it solar. You could totally
No,
do it.
you
solar.
know Trump's not going to do
No,
solar.
Trump
or
is
wind
not going to do
power.
solar.
There's no way he's going to do solar. If there's lights, you know he's going to build a coal plant right at the right there in the
Coal plant.
monument to power.
Remember, Reagan took off the solar panels from the White House. Okay, he removed them. He didn't want that.
Mm.
Trump's not going to do solar
Well,
panels.
Well, yeah, solar panels back in Reagan's day were bullshit anyway. That's a good call.
Well, yeah, but it's it's a good symbol. Symbolically, it was a good thing.
But
right?
today, get like what? I think the new
again-
solar panels are like 60% efficient now, which is actually
Yeah, they can last about 10 more years longer.
Well, I wanted to make it clear. Spending money on our national monuments to keep them upgraded and keep them protected and keep them working is a good cause in my mind.
However, isn't he
The
taking
way
it
this
out of the
administration went
operational
about it
budget
is
from the other
ridiculous.
parks? Isn't he taking it out of the budget of other parks though? Like he didn't get the money. Like,
yes.
I believe it's coming out of like operational budgets for other national parks. I do have a chucklehead
Yeah.
this week too. I found one.
They literally, and how you doing, Chris? They literally cut funding for the preservation of historic sites,
Mhm.
and then they still took money out of that budget to do this.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it was
I think
necessary. You know that, right? It was
Yeah.
absolutely
But they
necessary.
probably should have gone to Congress and specifically requested funding for it.
Well, then
rather
why?
than
Why?
taking
Why?
funding out of the
All right, I'll be right back.
operational budget of
Why?
other national parks.
Why would you go to Congress for anything? They're just puppets. That's all they are. Why would you go there? Congress doesn't do anything. Congress doesn't need to approve anything. Don't you know these things?
Mm.
I don't know why they just don't do it. Like they find better ways of doing it, like national things like that. I would presume that you'd set up some kind of like thing where the people, like you actually have people like, keep it up and make it better and maintain it. Maybe companies that they flip the bill and they get the credit for the advertising for doing it, and kind of like
No,
not pay for it,
no,
let America do
I
it.
disagree.
no
with that
advertising.
entirely.
No advertising. I'd say what you do is
No, okay, let me rephrase that. I don't want logos in the fucking pool. That's not what I meant.
okay, but that's my point though. As soon as you open that up, they're gonna want to do that.
Yeah. no.
Yeah.
Well, not me. This is my world. I'm the one who's talking about how I would do it, not how fuck
Okay.
them. I'm talking about, you wouldn't be allowed to freaking advertise on the fucking pool. Yeah, like that would make sense.
Well,
But you would get the prestige of everybody knowing that you're the company that does it. You know what I mean? And you could have
So-
people and
But I
suits. I
think-
mean, you could bend the rules a little bit, like people that
So
are working
here-
on it have like
May I comment as well?
shirts and shit. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, of course.
I think that things of national pride should come out of tax dollars.
well,
Something
Yeah,
like
yes,
that
but
should
here's how you do
come
this.
People.
by
Guys,
the
hold
American
on.
people, not by a corporation. Like we're putting too much. Like a corporation should pay proper taxes and not be counting on their benevolence to like
So here's how you do
fund
this.
things. That's like take half of fucking Elon's money. Isn't he going to be a trillionaire? next year?
Here's how you do this. Here's how you do this. And we've done this in Kansas City with several projects across the city. And there's plenty of room there to do this. What you do is you offer up either paving bricks or paving stones. And what you do is you say, buy one of these sizes. And you figure out how many can go around the whole thing, the walk area around it. Figure out how many can go around the whole thing. What you say is, listen, we're going to sell them this size, this size, this size, this size, whatever. And you can buy one and put somebody's name on it, inscribe it, dedicated to so-and-so. I did one for my father at the World War One Museum Monument here in Kansas City. They have them at Union Station. They have them at several places. And what that does is that lessens the taxpayer's amount. So what you do is you say, we're going to do this. We're going to sell these.
Adopt the pool.
Something like that. But you're going to do that. And then what you say is that the taxpayer dollars that go towards it will equal what the private donations are. So therefore, you figure out what that halfway point is, and that's how you decide how much you need. And then you lessen the tax burden, but the taxes still can go to it. But then you also have people privately doing it. And you leave companies out of it. You say companies can't do it. It has to be individual people.
Yeah, that works too. And that's what I was trying to say too. I said company at first, but I wanted to say people. That would be awesome. Like, yeah, the people should be the ones who restore this. If it's our national monuments, I think it would mean a lot more if they stayed really nice and pristine by the people instead of by the government.
Yeah, we're arguing over it because it seems to be a thing that Trump's proud of because his is bigger than anybody else's. Is everything he says is.
Yeah, and yeah, this image is pretty much why we were talking about it, and the fact that he said that the refurbishments to the pool are complete just in time for the America's 250th birthday, even though
there is no 250th birthday. It's just a MAGA rally on his birthday. He canceled
No.
I'm talking about in general. I'm talking about general Elihu, not this specific thing. What he's doing at the White House.
And it's the 250th redneck party. That's what it is there. Although that picture you sent about the UFC fight, that would be hilarious. That really does happen.
Didn't that get canceled? Or no, not canceled.
Some of it is, but I don't know.
Music thingy.
Some of the fighters came out talking that smack and they got banned.
The weather predicted, the weather model prediction shows thunderstorms and heavy clouds and high chance of rain on the 14th, by the way.
Also, though, let's just be honest with this picture here. He's already messed up because at the time, I can't remember. I'd have to see, but I think
Is it the
Sears
antenna?
Tower.
We talked about that.
Yeah, the Sears Tower is the tallest building in the United States. Yeah, I think it is, or it was. I think the One World Trade Center is now, but
yeah, that was one of the things I did mention, Chris, because they didn't include for the Sears Tower. They didn't include the height, including the lightning rod, whereas for the Empire State Building, they included the height with the lightning rod, which means that because of that issue,
This has no purpose. This thing makes
yeah, I know. Well, and the thing is look at this. When you look at this, it's 4 feet different or 3 feet difference in this, right? Yeah, it looks like it's like 20 to 30 feet difference. Like you can't even put the right. You can't even represent it correctly. I don't know who comes up with this crap.
Well,
and what does it matter? It's not the same type of thing. It's a flat pool. It's
serves zero purpose. It makes.
I posted a picture of the reflecting pool I took a couple years ago. See how reflective it is a couple years ago compared to what it is today.
And now I will say this.
Wait, the pool was already that high, right? Like that. It's not like he made it bigger. It was already that big, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what the fuck?
I will say this.
It's not a comparison. Like you don't compare how tall one thing is to how long something else.
Yeah, might as well the Mississippi River is bigger than that shit.
Or like
I will say this though. I think
95. That's even longer.
I think that this did fulfill its primary purpose, which was, let's face it, because we're talking about it, it's distracting from the Iran war and it's distracting from the Epstein files.
Quick. Oh, damn it. You had to say that. I was going to say, quick, someone do a fucking graph showing if you take the Epstein files and put
somebody did that
page.
Somebody did that.
How high is that? Someone did it already?
Somebody did that already. Somebody did that already. They put the files and replaced the pool. It's already been done.
I think it's funny that if that's really what he's doing, it just shows again how stupid he and the rest of his group is, because nobody's forgotten about it. We sit there, we're asking questions still about it. It's like, what do you think this does? It does nothing except make you look worse.
Yeah,
I think Gap even put it in there. Gap said, he should be worrying about, people's paychecks and all that stuff. And like he said he was going to, because, America first, no move about. Like, it's not, he doesn't give a shit about America. He doesn't give a shit about anything unless it somehow looks good for him or helps him. And again, it's all about him. He doesn't want, this has nothing to do with helping or renovating or fixing the reflecting pool. This is only because he wants to say, look, I did that.
I'll be right back.
And the thing is, nobody cares. Because none of it's all like he's putting icing on a shit pile.
Yeah,
I mean, he's I don't know. Trump's reminding me right now. He's like, we have Homer for president. But I don't even want to fucking like.
I think Homer would do better.
Homer would make a better president.
Intellectual,
like,
genius in comparison.
Sometimes he reminds me of Homer, but sometimes he also reminds me of the baby from the dinosaur show. You know the dinosaur show? What was it called?
Yeah, it's definitely Gap. You're absolutely right. It definitely is like lipstick on
dinosaurs.
It was
dinosaurs, not the mama. Not the mama.
Exactly.
Now, Chris, remind me, what branch of the service did you serve in?
Marines.
All right, and I know that when NB was here, he was a member of the Marines as well.
Yes, he was.
So I want to know, how do you feel about the fact that with this new ICE budget that was just approved by the Senate, which will be going to the House of Representatives, so it hasn't been confirmed yet, is supposed to be $70 billion, and that yet the United States Marine Corps only gets 52. So how do you feel that, an organization that employs less than 50,000 people is going to get $70 billion to do whatever they want, whereas the United States Marine Corps, our preliminary fighting force, is only going to be allotted 52?
This doesn't affect me, but here's the facts. This isn't disproportionately different than it's ever been. I mean, there are a lot of things that get more than when I think that perhaps they aren't as important. But this is again par for the course with Trump. He says one thing, and yet it's another. Here's the thing. They're doubling and tripling budgets for ICE and Homeland Security, where they've never needed to do it. And his numbers of getting people out are worse than most other presidents. And so where's the money going? It's not going anywhere where it's actually helping, because what they're doing is they're actually costing the country more than what you see. So this price tag will be higher than that, because what they'll do is they'll go into places, they'll pull people, and then they'll get into court, and the court will get bogged down again, and there'll be a lot of money going towards that. The government has to pay people to go in and fight these cases, and that's more money. And the problem is that probably most of them have to have either the people released or brought back, because the ones that do get deported have always been getting deported. The problem was never deportation. It was letting them back in. And again, he's not going to put these people on the front lines and in the places that need to be, like ports and southern border, northern border. And I'm not saying that either border is bad or anything. I'm just saying if you're going to put more people out there, that's where they need to go: ports and the borders. The deportation thing has never been an issue because they've relied on the local police, and the local police have handled it. And so it's just numbers and wasted money. Because I guarantee you, at least half that amount will go to nothing. it'll just disappear in the ethos. And if I were still in,
Well, remember,
again,
these are the
we're used to it.
Chris. I wanted to make it clear. These are the operational budgets. Okay?
I know. What I'm saying is that it's always been like that in one way or another. They'll
Is this
tell you
that they're using to overpay for warehouses to keep people in.
probably.
Yes.
I mean, go ahead.
Sorry. Yes. This is including paying for the operational budget for ICE. That is including paying the contractors for those third-party
Yes.
prison facilities.
And the money went through the other night.
It's
So,
been
no, it hasn't gone through
No,
yet. I think
it has to get- it has to go to the House, and there's still some question on if it'll get through or not. It probably will, but it's been months, and I'm not positive it will. My
Now-
point here is, though, years ago, they started mothballing everything. One of the places I was at, El Toro, is now a hot air balloon park and little.
Wait,
No,
when
it's just
did
hard.
they close El Toro?
What?
When did they close El Toro?
20 years ago. It's been close for. That's what I'm saying. Is like they mothballed things.
Wake up, Mike.
This has never
Oh,
been. This has never been anything different. Okay, it's typical, and I'm not saying so. The military budget is huge in the United States. It's always been big. Some days it's less, some days it's more. It's just depends on your president, depends on what's going on around the world, and it's never quite what it should be. Because again, you have to figure in the amount of people you have, lodging, food, transportation, all these different things. And they give just enough. But this doesn't surprise me. Again, nobody's going to think, hey, maybe some of this should go to the military. And even then, remember that 52 number you brought up is split out from the other 4 branches. I mean,
Yes.
and so, and it depends because lots of times the Army and Navy get more. And I don't even know what the Navy is, but the Navy sometimes, depending on who makes the budget, who shows the budget, sometimes the Navy and Marine Corps get combined together, and then they just assume an even half and half split. That's not always true. There's a lot of those factors in there. So, I mean, I'd have to look into the numbers, but it doesn't affect me, but it doesn't surprise me. And depending on like what the conditions are in barracks and stuff like that, there's just no
Okay.
there's no way to know exactly. So if you know somebody that's in,
Just to compare,
ask them how it
Chris,
does. Yes.
oh, you were saying that the naval budget, not including the 52 to 54 billion allocated to the Marines. The Navy's overall budget is 292 billion.
Yeah. See. So do we know if that's combined or not?
That is not including the Marine Corps budget.
Okay,
Including the Marine
yeah,
Corps
see.
budget, it's 238 billion.
Yeah. So
No, I'm sorry.
That-
I misspoke. Sorry, 238 is the amount without the Marine Corps. 292 is with the Marine Corps.
okay, there you go. So
What
I mean,
what's the
that's
total military
typically how it goes,
budget?
because a lot of different transport and stuff like that is probably handled by the United States Navy currently. Therefore, they're given more. We're Marine Corps is the little brother of the Navy, so it's like you hitch a ride from your little brother and stuff like that. So that doesn't surprise me that they're throwing a lot of that money that way. And I would assume that come near the end of the year, when they need to get rid of money, it probably trickles down somewhere, but I could be wrong. I don't know. All that financial side of it, I was never a part of, never saw or anything like that. So, I mean, again, it doesn't surprise me because right now his concern, even though he'll tell you he's all about military and military families and all that, yet what's funny is he'll call anybody who gets caught or captured a loser. Anybody who gets injured during war, a loser. Anybody who died during war, he's called losers. But when he's straight to somebody's face, he won't say that. But he's been caught on camera saying it.
The military is just a prop for him, right? He treats
It
it
is.
like a prop.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the thing. He uses it for his advantage when he wants to. But when it doesn't help him, he will talk shit on it all day long. And that's what literally that would be the one reason why I would never vote for the man. If I had ever, anybody who has ex-military service is a veteran. Anybody who voted for him should be ashamed of themselves.
I still want to know how he's able to actually complete his little post, and basically it's like, we're doing this and this and this. They agreed to this and this and this, but Russia said no, we didn't. Iran says no, we didn't. How does he actually get away with saying shit, saying we agree to this, but the opposite says no, we never agreed to this?
Whoa. Now you're trying to say that. Now you're saying it's a foregone conclusion that he's lying because the other side says he's lying. Of course, they're going to say he's lying. That doesn't mean anything. It's just a bunch of people saying no. He did it. He did it. No, he did it. He's lying. He's the one that did it. You know what? That's all this is. It's a pointing game, and it means nothing. So don't buy into anybody's bullshit like that.
Because he's not trustworthy doesn't suddenly make Russia and Iran trustworthy.
All right.
Exactly. That's my main problem right there. But going back to really quick, it doesn't surprise me. It was infuriating. It's infuriating the way he treats veterans in the military. Period. To me, it's because he absolutely does not care. He has there's nothing for him in it.
John Lewis. He should have gave John Lewis the Congressional Medal of Honor, not Rush Limbaugh that night.
Well,
that's what pisses me off.
He does this, and again, any person who comes from a strong military family, has parents that were in the military, a brother, a sister in the military, all veterans, anybody who voted for him should be ashamed of themselves.
All right,
Because
so I did
that's ridiculous.
Figures, real quick, because of the $52 billion allotted to the United States Marine Corps, approximately half of that money is meant to actually pay our troops. All right. So, again, these are ballpark figures, so please ignore, a large amount of it. But if you were to divide, half of 52 billion by the 200,000 personnel in the United States Marines, that would equate to each Marine earning $130,000 a year. Okay. That would now that's not actually how much a Marine makes. Because
you're gonna have your officers, your command posts, all that. More money comes into that, right. Plus bonuses for advancement at the time of advancement, all that stuff. Yeah. So that, again, your average pay right now is for somebody who's in the first 4 years is probably anywhere from, I would guess, 30 to 45, somewhere around that in the first. Maybe not even that. I'd have to go back and look.
I had the wrong chat up. Sorry, Cam. I heard your message, Cam. Sorry about that.
Now, if we did the same thing for the amount of money going towards the ICE bill, and assuming if they were actually doing the same thing, that half that budget is supposed to go to paying the people who work there, that would mean that every ICE person is going to be earning $1,750,000 a year.
Yeah, but that it's going to be it's getting grifted away to like buddies and contracts.
I know.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's a grift.
But I'm just like, if you were to do the same thing for the operational budget, and like, what do you think is actually going to be more secure, the United States Marine Corps or ICE?
Marine Corps. By the way, the qualifications have actually decreased to become an ICE agent now. You no longer have to have a high school diploma or an associate or bachelor's degree anymore.
No, I told
You
you.
don't
I
have.
told you what
You
a friend
don't
of
have
mine
to
told me,
be.
right?
You don't have to be you can be a convicted felon, be arrested or charged for misdemeanor or felon, and still be an ICE agent.
Yes. No, I told you. I said this several months ago. Maybe I didn't bring it up on this. So a friend of mine who is still working with government agencies and stuff basically told me flat out that he had heard that they were actually making the call when they first were trying to ramp up stuff to grab any former police officer or former law enforcement officer who had been discharged or removed from their duties because of disciplinary actions, primarily ones that are involving violence or overuse of force.
Yeah.
It was an actual call to say those are the people we want. Now, I don't know if you guys know this. Basically, here's the thing: the system will flag every one of those people, but there's a way to get an exemption. So you go in front of somebody, and then maybe they are not even doing that. I don't know, but oh wait, no, this guy killed somebody in the line of duty, and it was deemed that it was wrong, but not wrong enough that he was tried for murder. He shot him. So they thought excessive force, but he wasn't criminal and he was doing something wrong. So whatever, there are situations that can happen, just so you know, where you won't get charged with murder, but you can still be removed from your service because you did too much or you did the wrong thing. That would flag the system automatically. And you would then get brought in front of 1, 2, 3 people, depending on the structure of the agency you're in. And they would tell you, well, what happened? Break it down for us exactly what happened here. And you can go in and say, listen, I was in this situation and I thought the guy had a gun. Turned out it was a BB gun and it wasn't real. And I probably should have maybe just tased him or this or that. Maybe, and sometimes that's enough. But I'm assuming right now that anytime there's an exemption needed, they're just getting a piece of paper and saying, just give us an exemption. They're doing it. That's kind of what I think is going on right now. They're just saying, fine, let them. They're not even seeing anybody. They're not listening to the story. What really happened? Were you sorry? Did you realize you were wrong after you did it? Those are questions they will ask you for exemptions because they want to know, are you prone to this? They, I believe, are starting to just say, screw it. We want those people.
Well, they just don't have people who are willing to do it, right? Like they're basically scraping the barrel. There's very few people who want to be involved with this sort of.
Well, even in the best of times.
Oh my gosh.
Even in the best of times, Border Patrol officers have it tough. You're dealing with people that, even if you know Spanish, it's very difficult because there's a lot more people than just Spanish-speaking people coming through.
Yeah.
It's stressful because there's high demand because you don't want. If you've ever been through a border, on either Mexico or Canada, which Dandelion and Mike, you guys have dealt with it probably in the past.
No way, Mike has been to Mexico? No way.
But
last month, three separate times.
I know, but that those lines, I cannot describe to you. Think of a disaster movie where you see people trying to leave cities and you see the gridlock. Those borders, those entry points can get like that. It's amazing how many cars
get miles long.
Exactly.
Every single week.
So imagine being. Wait, hold on.
Here telling us how long each border crossing. We've got like 5 different border crossings near here.
Well, yeah.
There's 3 in San Diego.
Yeah, you can look up the wait to see how long it takes to get across.
Exactly. But here's the thing: you have to understand. There's probably only at each station, at the best of times, there's probably 5 to 10 a shift.
Okay.
And that every one of those guys has to look out there and think, "Oh shit, we got to get this done," because People are going to get up here and be like, "You fucking assholes! You're taking my time is
Chris,
important." Blah, blah,
here-
blah.
here-
I'm going.
Yes.
Hey guys,
part of the
guys,
issue, though. Chris, I want you to
Oh,
understand. There have been times where I've crossed the border where for the line for the cars, this is not including the line for people walking across, but for the line for the cars, they had a grand total of 5 people manning the entire border.
That's what I'm saying. So even in the best of times,
and that's
border
after
patrol is a tough job.
double the amount of people working. So that means before Trump we only had 10,000. Now we've got 20,000, and they are still severely understaffed at the borders themselves.
Exactly.
When they went to the airports, they were standing around doing nothing.
But again, when you think about that, go back to that number right there. He wasn't putting the numbers at the borders. He was putting them in Minneapolis. He was putting them in. He wanted to take them to Chicago. He wanted to go city by city to do this stuff. That's not where you put those people. You put them on the borders, patrolling the borders, at border crossings, and then again, you use your local police departments, which for years have handled these issues locally without an issue.
Okay, so it was you who said that. All right, I was wondering because raise your hand if you grew up in Los Angeles in the 90s, the 80s and 90s. I am raising my hand in case no one else is.
I did not live there,
Los
but
Angeles, San Diego.
I know about it.
Okay, so San Diego in the 80s and 90s, same thing. The immigration system that California had at the time, it was a joke. It was a joke. It was like 10 men sitting around a desk, and they'd go around Home Depots and scare off the day workers.
Okay,
Home Depot.
I'll give you an example of something. Just after Bush and started ICE, I was working at Jack in the Box here in San Diego. When ICE would come in to our facility to check everything, it was one guy with a badge and a suit, and he would go to our computer systems. He would check everything. He would let us know everything, and it was if they needed to arrest anybody, they would call the San Diego police or the sheriffs in the area or the local police force to come arrest those people. And even on those occasions where it did happen, where we did have someone who was violating their visa by their visa had expired, but they were still working. No one really ran or did anything. They were like, okay, yeah, you got me, blah, blah, we'll just wait. Even though the guy didn't handcuff them. But now I've seen in San Diego the actual videos of them going in with like a SWAT team, arresting everybody, regardless of whether they're citizens or not, and then doing the paperwork to find out who's legal.
Speaking of illegal, his latest post was talking about making sure that all illegal immigrants, all the illegal people in the country, will no longer have a bank account, which is fucking ridiculous because illegals actually have a social security number to pay taxes when they work. So that means they're not going to be able to deposit money in their account. They're going to have hundreds of dollars on their person at all times.
All right. And what Cam's was saying is because illegal immigration wasn't the point, terrorizing the American people is. Cam, you don't know how correct you are because, again, I live in San Diego County. I've seen the videos that people have posted online of hundreds of cars, like a caravan of cars illegally crossing the border at these spots where there's no fence or anything like that. ICE and immigration and all those things are not stopping them whatsoever because they want those people in the country. They want the illegals in this country, so they have that boogeyman to scare us.
I mean, also the difference, if I could, the difference between like pre 9/11 and now, like pre 9/11, they wanted those migrants in here because the migrants would come in, work for a couple of months, and then they'd go back to wherever they came from, right? Like it was like in a sense they wanted the people here, right? They still have to put on a bit of a check to make sure people don't have criminal records and that kind of stuff, make sure they're not causing trouble. But of course they wanted the people here to work. Like that was like the economy is based on having like low wage workers come in to do jobs that people don't like, that I know we can't get people to work on our farms. Like, I don't think I could go out and work like one of
And you know
our
what's
jobs.
what's funny on this?
People, sorry, real quick, let me get this out because I'm going to forget it here in a second. But if you have that type of immigration where you have people coming in and they understand it's temporary, like they're doing it on purpose because they're coming here to work, make dollar bills, and then when they get back, doesn't that translate into more money when they convert it back to their
It
original
would.
country?
It does. It helps our
So
economies.
here's
Helps
again
both out.
the whole scaring Americans. That is what this is about. It's about bullying America into thinking that they're actually doing something. Here's the problem: Biden's 4-year term and Trump's first term, which again Trump was going with this too, saying mass deportation, mass deportation. Biden doing it quietly and the way that we've done it for years and years, deported 4 million people, and Trump, it was 1.9.
There just aren't
Now-
that many people there.
Well, no, it's not just that.
Chris, you need
The
to add.
other
You need
thing-
to add
hold
that.
on.
You need, Chris. You need to add that 1 to 2% of those people that they got deported were
Okay,
American
hold on.
citizens.
I'm trying to talk here. Here's the other thing. Since the beginning of his second term, if you take that time period so far and put it to what Biden has done in the same time period, he's under about 60,000 from what Biden was. And this is a guy who constantly tried to say, I'm better than Biden. I'm better. I'm better. I'm better. And the funny thing is notice what the difference is here. Again, this any business out there in the world, any business, if they handled things the way that ICE is handling things, they would be under in 5 seconds. Because if you ignore rules, if you just brute force your way through something, you're missing tons. The line from Star Wars that Princess Leia tells Tarkin, the tighter your grip, the more star systems will slip through your fingers. And that's not quote for quote, but that's basically what she says. It's the same thing here. He's trying to grip this so tightly that he's missing so much because, like Mike said, he goes in, they arrest everybody in an area, and then they find out 90% of those people were American citizens or legally here. And then what do you have to do? Now you've wasted money. Now you've held up people for longer. Now you get lawsuits. Now you get this. Now you get that. And then for that, you might get one deportation. Maybe. And that's the problem. They've been doing it everywhere. They did it here. They've done it in San Diego. They did it up in Minneapolis. And think about it. Again, think about how tight he was trying to grip Minneapolis and get people out, the Somalians and all that stuff. Oh, we're going to go in. We're going to get all these illegal immigrants out. Only thing we got out of that really was 2 Americans dead.
Sorry, hit my mic.
Yeah, and it also it diverts resources from the kind of people you actually want to deport, the people who are committing crimes but are harder to get a hold of, right?
But going back to the point that
farm or waiting for a job at a Home Depot, right? Like the people you really want to get out are not getting caught because they're wasting their time on people who aren't causing any problems or who are legally here. Like, it's not illegal to be, a brown person.
On American tax forms, it has something about, are you a migrant? We account for that. You account for those people to be here. And yet he's trying to say they're here legally. It's like, no, they are allowed to come in for a short amount of time with visas and stuff like that. And he's counting these people out on that. And then the other thing, like what Mike said, is you got all these people crossing legally. Why? Because you're not putting those resources to the borders where they should be again. And he brought up the other point that I had said. Back when this first started, you had one guy going around randomly checking places and then saying, hey, these guys, you've got to get this information, or these guys don't have the proper information. They have X amount of time to get it to you. They don't, all this stuff. And then what happens if you find somebody that isn't illegal or needs to be arrested? They call up the county sheriff, the local police department, whatever it was, and they say, hey, you guys got to come pick these guys up. And most of them knew it. And most of them got away. And then, yes, is it true what Trump says about murders and all that? If they're illegal and they're murderers, yes. And it is a problem because we deport them, and what's the first thing they do? They'll come right back. But how do you combat that? If you're going to up your numbers of CHP, or not CHP, of CBP and ICE, you put those people at the borders, and that helps reduce the number of people coming through again. That's how you got to do it. But he's not doing that. He's trying to, again, it's like a bull in a china shop. It's running around. It's like a dog chasing a car. It wouldn't know what to do if it caught it. They don't. It's like they're just out there running through buildings, running through businesses, trying to stop something. It's they have. It chasing the white whale.
Well, I think they've just been, watching too many movies, probably.
A lot of the people are getting yes. Now it's people
for longer. I know are actually know.
Well, how do you think the people who've been there for a long time feel about this? Now they're getting a bad name.
I know.
It's just like police officers. My dad used to say, no matter what you do, there will always be bad cops, and the bad cops give the good cops a bad name. Yeah. So think about that. Everybody in a lot of different parts, not everybody, but a lot of people in Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City, urban areas for sure, are hesitant about police because they ran into one bad cop.
Yeah.
And that one bad cop ruined it for 50. And that's the problem.
I never understand why they protect bad cops, because it just makes them all look bad.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of rules out there that protect the police officers because, unfortunately, as much as it protects bad cops, it's really there for the good cops. They can be that people can point the finger to and say, well, he did this. And you have to protect them to some extent, because if you allow lawlessness to rule, it doesn't work either. Yeah, but again, there are flaws in how this works. But the problem is ICE is leaning into those flaws purposely and making it worse.
Mm-hmm.
You're allowing people, you're telling people, no, it doesn't matter what they say. Don't even worry about looking at the papers. Just get them in here.
Yeah.
Are you guys just considering the Mexican border? What about the Canadian border?
I said both borders.
You did say both borders.
Okay. I said both borders. The thing is, though, is I'm not going to go.
The snakeheads bring people in and transport.
And I mentioned that too. I said you have to put these people at the borders and at the ports. Those are the places you put CBP and ICE. That's where they belong, and that's where the numbers are lacking. That's why we need more.
And when it comes to the CBP specifically should also be allowed at the airports, because they also do customs as well.
Yes, but I think that they're going to be, that they need to be there. TSA handles it a little bit. DHS handles that, and then CBP. So there's always about 2 or 3 officers at every airport, and they're there if it has to actually be. We have to arrest them and take them in. There's a hierarchy on how that gets handled.
We're going to go ahead and change subjects, though. But before we do, everyone say hi to Mrs. Vile. She's in the chat.
Hi,
Hola, Mrs. Cardenas.
I do have a chuckle.
Hello.
Too.
I did want to say something real fast.
Well, hold on. Let Jenny Lyons, since she hasn't been up talking that much, let her do her chucklehead of the week real quick.
All right. So my chucklehead, I don't have a good one. I have like a ludicrous nonsense person. Is Victor Marx, one of Colorado's GOP primary candidates for the I believe GOP candidate for governor.
Is that one of the Marx brothers?
No, it is not. But he's totally weird and crazy. He apparently was doing an interview, and he's claimed that his father made him kill someone when he was 7 years old, and then he refused to answer how many more lives he may have taken in this crazy interview. It was just
the hell?
Banana pants. And there's no evidence that he ever killed a person when he was 7, for one thing. And then, but he's totally weird. The little interview clip is just super weird.
And he's running for what?
As I would say, as a child, yes, without question. But I've been.
What is he running for?
Governor. He's one of the primary candidates. He's the leading primary candidate.
Governor of California?
Colorado.
Colorado.
Okay. Oh,
Possibly people or persons died as a result of defending myself in other countries. I don't think he's even. Oh, he was a Marine Corps veteran, but he's like, yeah, just some of the shit he's claiming. There's no evidence for any of it. Like, and just super weird, you know. So yeah, he's kind of like, yeah, he's got some.
I think you brought it up. Cuckoo banana pants.
Yeah, here I have a little link here for an article that people can watch the little interview if they want. It's only like 2 minutes, but here, let me just put it in I'll put it in the private chat because I'm not in the regular chat right now, but I'll go and I'll get in there. But I don't know if anybody wants to pull it up and take a quick look at that. But yeah, it was just really, he just seemed like a complete Looney Tune, but just the way he answered the questions were sort of super cagey. And like, yeah, people have like, you know, some people have looked into it and it's totally, and it just seemed very.
I might have to watch that after this, or at least after the CNA.
All right, there's the link in the regular chat as well. So yeah, just really weird.
Can you put that in the?
It's in the private chat and the regular chat.
Well, okay, I'm not going to get to it then because I'm. So can you text it to me or send it to me on Instagram or something, please?
Yeah, I'm not
Thank
on my
you.
phone. I'll find you the link. But if you just look him up, there's a Yahoo article. If you look up Victor Marx and then you look for the article, you'll find it.
This thing you're about ready to bring up.
Can I say something before you bring up the religions?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I don't know why. There's another post I just found on True Social about him wanting to restore something about the military. It's not about the runway. It's not about planes. It's about the Joint Base Andrews Air Force Base. He is complaining that the golf courses are not being completed and redone. Yeah, I just want to make that note. He's claiming golf courses at the Air Force Base is not being redone because veterans want to play golf. I had to bring that up. Sorry.
And that's one of the things I've always not understood about how. Do you guys? I live in San Diego. There are at least 5 military golf courses in San Diego alone.
Yes.
And it always bugged me because of how much space they take up, the fact that they're not open to the general public, the fact that they eat up a lot of water and resources and land, especially land near military bases is incredibly valuable. And
land is leased
I've always thought golf is a big
for
waste.
Current market value.
Say that again, Mr. CZDB.
I said the land is leased by the government at current market value. So all the utilities and everything are paid for by the government.
Yeah, but you have to understand something also. Market value is determined by the government.
Yeah.
For the most part.
That is true.
Right,
You negotiate deals on leases.
And trust me, they're not paying what you would have to pay in California for that land.
There you go, Chris.
Right,
I texted you the link. I just have to look for it on my phone. No problem. No problem. The whole thing was just very weird in general.
The last thing we're going to talk about on the federal government politics stuff is this new change in the number of recognized religious faiths as issued by Pete Hegseth and the DOD, removing over 150 recognized religions.
I don't see his religion on here.
You don't
alcoholism.
See
what? I said I don't see his religion on here. Alcoholism.
I don't see Star Trek.
Do they have LDGism?
Well, they got rid of Jedi. They got rid of the
Jedi.
What was it? Yeah, Jedi was a recognized religion. Pastafarianism was.
They just throw all the other ones into OR.
Yeah, no more Mormonism allowed.
Oh,
No,
it
Mormon
all
is
goes
on there,
under.
but
It
it's
all goes
under.
under anything that isn't on here that you would claim goes under OR.
What about
Now,
the Scientologists?
Yeah, Scientologist
again,
is not.
OR,
And here's what's
OR.
funny. Here's what's funny. They decided to try to be as politically correct as possible. And what I mean by that is they kept Judaism, Jewish, on there,
Mhm.
as you see, but they removed the Satanic Temple.
It's
And
under OR.
well, it's under OR, other religions. But here's the thing: as of 2025, there are more recognized members of the Satanic Temple than there are members of the Jewish faith in this country.
I understand that. But here's the other thing you have to understand about this. This is based on official numbers, and official numbers are only by recognized churches or members. Just because you claim it does not mean that you're necessarily considered a recognized member or part of this group. So that's why you don't see Scientology on that, because their numbers are dwindling. So here's the thing that got me though, because this isn't too different than from what it was when I went in. Because a lot of things just went under OR because it was quicker and easier than having to go through a billion different things. Technically, I could say, I could create my own religion of the Coke religion and worship a can of Coke. And technically, they can't tell me I'm not that. So they would they just throw it under OR. Okay, you're just trolling us. Fine, we get an OR, whatever. That was just how it is. What got me when I looked at this list is Orthodox. Orthodox has about 400 different factions, and they are not all the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how do you figure?
I also want to point out, Chris, they have Christian non-denominational and
Yes.
Christian other.
Yes. What's the
I
difference?
was gonna say
There is
the
And Christian
Protestant
scientists.
denomination- The Protestant denomination.
And that might be what that's different than Scientology.
Chris, you're gonna let Mr.
And then, of
CCD
course-
Isn't the Church of
talking
God
about this?
a
Let Mr.
Sorry.
CCD finish what he was saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, what I was saying is the Protestant sect can split up into any kind of schism they want to, which is why there's Christian non-denominational. That's a Protestant sect. It should just be Protestant.
Well,
Apparently, most of the Mormons.
non-denominational would go against that, but
Well, most of the Mormons seem to be pissed because they're not labeled under the Christian brand. One of the Christian ones. And considering this amount of space they have on this document, they could have obviously put Christian in there, even if Church of Latter-day Saints is already the longest one. They still could have. They had plenty of room to put Christian Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Are
People
they
think
Christian?
that
They don't even recognize
Church of Latter-day Saints, Jehovah's Witness?
Well, Jehovah's Witnesses,
Witness.
yeah, they're on there under Christian.
what did Elijah just say?
They're similar to Jehovah's Witness.
Well, they have
wait.
similar tenets, but
They're not. No, they are nowhere near the same. I guarantee you right now. Trust me. I have been lectured heavily on the differences.
well, of
And
course,
again,
the Mormons have a whole extra book, whereas
I
Sure,
thought
too.
they were
Two.
kind of
They have two
more of
extra
like a quite different from Christian. Like
but
they kind of follow the Christian tenet, but not from a Christian Bible. Like they have their own.
it is the New Testament.
Yeah.
What about the
that's
Church of
I'm saying.
Ethiopia? Is that
Well,
on
I
here?
think not qualifying them as Christian seems kind of legit to me, but
Wait,
whatever.
I don't
Well-
see the Ethiopian church on here. What the hell is going on?
but
I think that I would say that they're going to get so much flack over this. They're going to redo this again.
Of course they will, but even like let's take Hindu for example. There are extreme differences in different sects of the Hindu religion that are more different than any of these Christian ones, but they're now under just a single religion. Islam has three major
Yeah.
branches,
Pastafarians
but they're all now being rolled into
now.
one. I can tell you right now, I've seen Sunnis and Shia Islam believers argue in the streets, like, you know, just like arguing, not like fighting, but just verbally arguing about the tenets of their own faith because of how different they are.
Mhm.
Judaism.
It's basically just a conversation in their language, right?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yelling
Yes.
and gesticulating is just conversation in their language.
Yeah, but goddamn, they make some good food, don't they? And for Judaism, I have never, I mean, there's a saying among Jews, you put 10 rabbis in a room, you'll have 11 different opinions on the Torah.
Mrs. Vile is upset because the Pastafarians are not involved anymore,
And the
included.
Pastafarians aren't there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm mad that the Pastafarians are there. I'm mad that the faith I am an actual minister of, the Church of Bacon, is not on this list. It was before. It is
It's
now.
OR. It's OR.
I know. But they have agnostic, and agnostic is definitely not a religious affiliation. That is
Literally not a
that's a
religion.
knowledge
Yeah.
claim,
That is
not a
a
faith claim.
that is
an
a
NR.
choice.
Yeah.
No,
It's
but
a
here's the thing.
scholarly pursuit.
The thing is, Chris, you could be an agnostic Jew. You could be an agnostic Christian. You could be agnostic a Hindu.
Yes.
Agnostic is not a faith regarding. It's a knowledge claim.
No.
That's
Exactly.
what agnostic means, knowledge. So the very first one they have on here is
All right,
regarding
stop. I mean, let's just be honest. We can talk about this for another 30 minutes. The problem isn't the list. The problem is the idiots behind the list.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm confused. I'm sorry. I'm confused as an atheist. Why the fuck are there so many separate Christian denominations? I'm like, shouldn't it be Christian, Hindu, Islam,
That's what I just said.
Muslim?
That
Yeah, I'm
if
like,
they
what?
wanted,
But
if they
here's the thing.
would
wanted,
make more sense.
But yet, but hang on. But yet the Trump administration is saying God first. It's only this. But yet they're differentiating which set of religions, Christian religions, they're actually accepting in the military. But yet they're only promoting one version of Christianity. I'm confused about this list. Like, what flip flopping bullshit is this?
you could do
Okay,
that
I'll-
to keep
I'll
it
give you
very. You could do that.
Okay, sorry. Chris, finish your thought, and then I'm going to say something.
Yeah, 'cause
So
I'm an
you
atheist.
could do it. You could do that if you want. If they wanted to make this complete, simple, and quick, they could. What religion are you? I'm a Presbyterian. Okay, should Christian. Good. Click. Done. They could do that. The problem is on the other side of this, you're going to have plenty of Presbyterians, Catholics, everybody else. They're going to be like, well, we should be on that list separate because we practice differently. It's like a chiropractic doctor and a medical doctor. They're not the same thing, but they're both doctors. That's what they would argue. Now the problem is the way it was is what that gets you is every damn thing in the world that you put down on that line now gets put into the system, and before long you have a billion different religions that aren't really, like there's two people that practice it or something. I get the reason for dropping it down, but you're never going to do it correctly. Somebody out there, Orthodox, like which Orthodox is that? I mean, again, they will get mad about this. Somebody's going to say something.
Now, I will give an example of one thing. I grew up Wesleyan Baptist. Okay, part of what our minister used to say is that Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, and Christian Scientists are not real Christians. Those are false religions and don't count. And if someone says they are they are not Christian. So I can tell you right now, my old minister and my family would be pissed at this list that Catholic is under Christian to begin at all. Because they would say it's not a Christian religion.
How would you say that Catholics aren't Christian? Because technically they were the first organized religion. panned out because every religion. Think of Martin Luther.
Yeah.
He proclamated against against Catholics.
They would
What
literally
about the
argue
Ethiopians?
that first schism, after Martin Luther and everything,
Protestant Reformation.
that is when the Catholic Church no longer became a Christian church. That's what they'll say.
Oh, okay. Well, I get that insanity. Okay, fine, whatever.
It is
So,
insanity, though. You're right.
The only way you kind of hit the nail on the head. No matter what they do, they're going to piss people off.
No,
And doing it this way, they were trying to basically delegitimize as many other smaller religions as possible.
Guys, you guys realize the Ethiopians are not even on here, and they have about 12 more books in the Bible than the Catholic Church has. And they're still considered Christians.
The biggest thing here to learn is that don't screw with religion because there's only one right answer in religion. You know what that answer is? Anyone?
Sorry,
Wheeler's not around.
The only right answer in religion is you're wrong.
Cam, my dad's dog tags, even though he was an atheist, they said Baptist on it. Simply because when he was in Vietnam, they said atheist. When he had to go into Desert Storm, he changed it to Baptist only because he was told that if you had atheist on your dog tags and you were captured by the enemy, they would immediately behead you. Whereas if they said you were a member of the Christian faith, they would keep you alive for a longer period of time. And that was the only reason he put Baptist on there. And it was because at the time, Baptist was the first listed one under Christian.
That's interesting. I've never heard that one. It doesn't surprise me.
So, all right. Anything else you guys want to add on this particular one?
No.
Nope.
Not about the religion right now.
So what is hello?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey, since we still got time left,
I still got one more thing I wanted to bring up.
Oh, that's cool. All right, I just wanted to know real quick, what is the overall, like, what is he still having his party, or is everybody just canceling? Because aren't the music people leaving? And
he's having his own little party. But I put the weather report up there. He wants to have a Make America Great Again rally. Basically, he wants to have a Republican rally on the grounds of the White House.
So basically, it's going to go as well as the military
to celebrate 250th birthday of America. He's having a mega rally, which means he's not inviting any Democrats, any independents, any non-Christians. He's only inviting Trump supporters. So it's going to be the first time that the White House is having a single political rally out of the grounds of the White House.
All right.
That is if he gets there.
Okay. There's two different organizations. One is called the America 250, and then one is called the Freedom 250. The America 250 is a bipartisan commission created by Congress to celebrate the 250th anniversary of signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Trump fired every single one.
Sorry, what?
10 years ago they were formed.
Yeah, and Trump fired every single member of the board who set that up.
Hold on. The other one is the Freedom 250. The Freedom 250 is the one that was hosting the Great American State Fair. That's the one we were talking about with all the people who canceled. This is not an act of Congress. This is something created by President Donald Trump. It is funded by religious organizations and private donors to his organizations without any oversight by Congress. That is that's why a lot of these people canceled, is because it wasn't the bipartisan one created by Congress. This is basically the one that celebrates Trump, called the Freedom 250.
I get that, but the one created by Congress hasn't done anything either.
They have. It's just not as big.
The whole plan was to have a representative from every state, like a float or marching band, something like that. They're supposed to have musical artists from rap, country, rock, jazz, a representation of all America. This party that
Right,
Trump is
so-
hosting is only Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that.
Okay, for example, the America 250 has funded nonpartisan historical and education programming for schools as well as PBS, including the National America's Block Party.
You do understand something, Elihu, that yes, he might try to do this, but it hasn't. Here's the thing: it hasn't happened yet. One, two. The last thing that he wanted to do, the big military review of the troops walking down Washington, was an absolute joke. This probably won't be any different. Again, he obviously can't read numbers because his approval numbers have dropped so significantly that anybody that's there is probably being paid to be there. Therefore, it won't be lively. It won't be fun. It'll just be a bunch of sad people stuck in a place they don't want to be.
You know, one of my favorite things about all those artists dropping out, it turns out they were all under this, like almost all under the same management company. And the
No, they were. They were all.
But you know what his name is?
Jeff Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
No,
That was
great. Like,
That
oh my
was
God.
great.
All right.
Yeah,
so the
yeah.
last
Tonight
thing-
Show,
the last
when
thing I actually
Today
want to
Show
bring up,
did that,
though,
I was laughing my ass off, dude. Oh my God, that was funny.
the last thing I actually want to bring up, and because this is a local matter, and you know, the SD Game Swap stands for San Diego.
Really?
What?
Basically,
Oh my
because-
God.
I gotta update my notes. Wow, I had.
I
something-
thought it was shitty discounts.
Whoa, that's not even close to what I thought. Anyway, go ahead.
so
Oh my God. LDG,
so-
Jesus.
Go ahead. Go
what I
ahead.
wanted to bring up was the San Diego City Council was about to cut another $2 million from our arts and culture funding. That includes, you know, maintaining stuff like Balboa Park and our museums and stuff like that. To give that money to the San Diego Police Department for additional funding. And there was a lady who walked into the city council with a 2-scale graph where each inch on her graph represented $100,000 to show the difference in spending for, you know, arts and culture versus the police budget. And, you know, on her little, you know, 2-foot by 3-foot graph, the arts and culture was like 10 inches long or so. Then she had the police budget and it goes off the edge, and she continued it on for another 7 feet. And
Yeah.
because of her argument, as well as and other people's arguments, the San Diego City Council was guilted into actually funding the arts and cultures programs for the city of San Diego. And considering how much of a tourist attraction a lot of that is, we need to fund that because the return on investment is massive.
Well, I'm glad they made the right decision.
Remember,
San Diego, is beautiful.
Arts and culture.
Absolutely
Sorry for interrupting you, CCTV, but I wanted to finish. Arts and culture also maintains the San Diego Convention Center, where we host Comic Con.
Yes, I know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just want to make
And-
a quick
and
comment
Gab,
about Gab talking about voter fraud.
Yeah, I live in California. I know.
There's very little voter fraud
Yeah,
overall. There's
even-
generally not enough to sway an election one way or another, and they
This
do things. People
has
do
been-
stupid shit like doing the cat. They caught the guy. The guy ended up in freaking prison. There's like really bad like
And-
you get a long sentence for
And
for
yeah, to
voter
give you an
fraud.
example, I voted by mail. I used a mail-in ballot.
I think I know where Gap is coming from because people in Texas are hang on, Mike. People in Texas are complaining that mail-in ballots are hindering the election because they should be counted before the election day, not on the election day. This is whole thing from Cruz's party and shit. And the thing in California, Gap, is they do not start counting votes until the election day because they don't want any influence on the election results. This way,
yeah,
they don't
want to. Yeah, they don't want to have anybody know what those numbers are before it happens, and it takes longer to do it. But go ahead.
I'll spend 5 minutes talking about this though. Gap. My ballot that I cast was the ballot that was mailed to me. It was mailed to me. I filled it out and I dropped it off at a library drop box. That also meant that I didn't have to wait in line. I could work all day the day of voting. I actually was able to drop this off the day before voting.
Exactly. I never go to the polling.
The amount of safeguards in place for California is why there's so little fraud, because everything's caught. Even the guy who tried to vote, there was a guy who tried to from Arizona who tried to vote in the election here in LA for mayor. He was caught primarily because he refused to actually sign anything. He refused to give his social security number. And basically the thing is, if you they'll say, if you just say you live here, they'll give you a provisional ballot, but you have to sign stuff to say, yes, under penalty of perjury and a massive fine and everything, everything is legit. He refused to do that. So they were like, oh, you're obviously not supposed to be voting then.
Let me hang on. I'm going to put the last comment real quick. You said, quote unquote, there's stuff in the ballot boxes. Do you know why people are putting multiple ballots in ballot boxes? Because they're helping disabled people. Okay? This is why. There was one woman in my building who's a caretaker for several older people in my building. Okay? There's about 6 or 7 people that are above 70. She took their ballots, took them to the ballot box for them. Okay? This is why you see people, quote unquote, stuff in the ballot. Yeah, they are social workers. They are helpers. They're helping the elderly and disabled vote. This is why you see people, quote unquote, stuffing ballots. They're doing it for disabled people.
And yet, legally be able to vote. Like, it's very difficult to commit fraud. Anytime you commit fraud.
Here's the thing. Wait. What's funny is people don't understand this, or maybe people do, but don't. The Trump administration, I don't know if it was this past election, after the election, or last election when they lost, did a study on this. And their numbers came up to be exactly what other agencies, other research studies have found out. That it's less than 1% of 1% in the grand scheme of things, something like that. I don't know. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. It is so infinitesimal that, and again, it's because of that people get caught, because it's so obvious when people do that. And yet, and here's the other thing.
In Georgia,
I want to talk. I wanted to finish. Saying, hold on, about if someone were to change somebody else's vote, what you're talking about. In the state of California, you can go online and put in your name to look up what exactly you voted for. That means that every person can go to that website, put their name in, and see if someone changed their vote. If someone suspects that their vote was changed, they can basically inform the government, and the government will do a check. And if the person did change the vote, that is still voter fraud, and it would be caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, we have safeguards in California.
And again, it's so obvious when it happens that they could. I don't know if I've ever heard of that hasn't gotten caught. But here's the other thing: everybody's saying, "Oh, the name," like they're using dead people's names. Sometimes there are situations where things get through, but then they catch it there, and because they don't have an actual person to go after, they disavow the vote. And also, people realize this: my father voted for the election against when it was Trump's first election. He was dead before the election day, but he had sent in his mail-in ballot. It counts because he sent it in before he died.
Yeah.
And so people don't understand, yes, that can happen. But my father put that in.
Yeah. Or sometimes they mix it up and they think they think the person's dead, and it turns out that it's the junior who voted, not the senior. And so it was a legitimate vote. There's like lots of things that like aren't as like, it's not because they're talking about it doesn't mean it's real. Like there's so many safeguards in place. It's not difficult. It's not easy to be fraudulent, right? Like they took all those ballots in Georgia. Those weren't fraudulent ballots. Those were just the ballots. They weren't fraudulent at all. And do you not think that if they had not taken those ballots, what was it, months ago now, that if they had found anything, they wouldn't have told you all about it? Like they haven't been able to prove any of the fraud they're claiming.
And no,
it doesn't exist.
Cap, I would say no. California does not have the most perfect elections.
Nobody had
What I would
perfect
say is,
elections.
the amount of fraud that is actually committed in any state, let alone California, is so little that it has virtually no effect on who's elected.
Yeah. And the penalties for the fraud are very severe.
Are massive.
Right?
Mhm.
Like you end up in like freaking prison for like
Look at Tina Peters.
years for voter fraud.
Yeah,
No,
Tina Peters.
Again, California is far from perfect because while the fraud is caught, the fraud still happens.
Voting fraud in the U.S. is listed as 0.0003%. So if you want to make this an issue, divide that by 50. That isn't even proper because I'm sure,
Again,
quote unquote, voter fraud in one state to the next state is
Yeah.
different in percentage. But if you take that 0.0003, that 0.0003, and divide it by 50, you're going to get even less.
But
And
Gap, did they
again,
count
Gap,
both the
this is
ballots
a
if
non
there's
this is a
duplicate
non
ballot?
sequitur. It has nothing to do with the voting laws.
Yeah.
And again, California is far from perfect.
And those weren't fraudulent ballots. They didn't, like, if there were duplicate ballots, you have to then look. So a lot of times people like, okay, maybe you sent in a mail-in ballot and then you go to vote the day of. That would be a duplicate ballot, but they won't both count. They catch that.
Yeah, they definitely catch that.
And they absolutely would have told you about it if they had found it.
Yeah, we're not saying it's perfect. Stop saying
No, he said that.
none
Mike
of
said
us
it's
are
not
saying
perfect several times.
Yeah.
And I got Geologia before we do the
What I'm saying
CNA
is-
streams.
we do have safeguards put in place that do catch as much, what little fraud there is, it is caught.
And I also want to point out to Gap real fast for Geologia that when they look at the ballots, if it's not signed, they will call and notify the person like, "Hey, your ballot is incomplete. Do you want to sign it or not?"
Yeah, no. This information is coming
Geologia.
from the Heritage Foundation.
I got Geologia. See you guys on the CNA stream. Sorry.
Yeah, this information is literally coming from this Heritage Foundation. This is the Project
It isn't
2025.
just that.
And
Hey,
Tina
wait, no.
Peters did
Yeah,
commit
that's what I'm
fraud.
saying. Trump administration has found these numbers too.
Yeah, and
They-
Tina cost that state millions of dollars. They had to replace all the voting machines that she had tampered with or that she allowed to have tampered with. Like she did commit fraud. What she did was fraudulent. She didn't expose any fraud. They never found fraud. They recounted those ballots, 4 or 5 times? And
And that's the
turned out
thing.
that Biden actually got more votes than originally.
If you want to bring up more of the facts that like what they're saying right now with in California, they're like, oh well, look at these numbers are just shooting up now. It's because it takes a long time to hand count it, and even if you did it, it all has to be hand counted, no matter how it's tallied. It's tallied quickly first through a computerized system, but then it has to be hand tallied also to make sure, again, to see the variance of what the automated counting is. They want to know how accurate automated counting is. They always do this. And then they hand count it to make sure that it's accurate. And they always find that the automated version of it is not, it's typically anywhere from 100 to 1,000 votes are inaccurately counted by automated systems. It's only in the hand counting that it really is found out to be accurate. Right. And again, these are numbers that even Trump's administration has found. His own people have found the exact same thing. And yet they're the ones screaming to the heavens that it's a problem.
And I mean, is it only a problem when apparently Democrats are the only ones committing the fraud? Because it usually turns out the people getting caught are more often than not, they're Republicans.
And Gap, as an example, okay, and I say this as someone who was at a school shooting, more children have been shot while attending school in the last 40 years during a school shooting than have been cases of election fraud for a presidential election in the last 40 years.
That's just because it's more hopeless now. People are actually snapping.
Well, I'm just saying. So election fraud is not an issue that we need to be worried about right now because the safeguards we have in place seem to be working.
They're very effective.
But we've gone overtime. Gap, if you want to definitely bring this up next week, by all means do so. Hopefully you don't think we're ganging up on you. Because yes, I do agree that both sides do cheat, but I don't think it's to the levels that you think it is.
I don't think it's cheating on
CNA.
I don't think it's cheating on voting. I think it's cheating on other things.
Before you go, I shared screen. I wanted to share something.
Yeah, I
super fast though.
I brought it up for a second.
That's me as the Hulk. I love it. I love it.
All right. I'll be on CNA here in a minute.
All right, I'm going straight over. Later, folks.
Okay, bye guys.
All right.